In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's motorcade in downtown Dallas. The first reports say that President Kennedy has been seriously wounded by this shooting.
It is a big idea, a new world order.
It was almost as if it were a planned implosion. It just pancaked.
Either you are with us, or you are with the terrorists.
But I also believe that a lot of gun owners would agree that AK-47s belong in the hands of soldiers, not in the hands of criminals.
Guns will be taken, and no one will be able to be armed. We will take all guns.
For many of the police and guard troops, it is an uncomfortable job to do this in an American city.
Global governance at last. Is it one world? The central bankers in charge. But aren't we all just living and dying for what the central banks do?
As for me, give me liberty or give me death!
G'day everyone, I'm Mackie here with the Outer Circle, and today you've joined us for InfoHammer. Here we have all the documents you need to know everything about Warhammer and what Games Workshop is doing to you to turn the frogs gay. I'm joined by my co-host, Kat.
They're not just going to say that the frogs gay, Macca. They're actually they're lacing the miniatures with an oil. People think that this is just a basic petroleum oil. It's actually laced with PCP. The mold remover is it gets out of China. It's all involved with the organ donating there as well.
I've actually heard rumour that what they're actually lacing the models with causes you to grow more facial hair under your chin than on the rest of your face. Now, I can't prove this, I don't have the documents for this, but this is what I hear. It's actually causing people to grow neck beards.
Yes, and with that, they, for some reason, go out and have an urge to buy top hats. Fedoras, to be more specific.
The fedoras. You know where the term Mad Hatter comes from, Kat? It's because they used to apply mercury to top hats back in the day, right? And the mercury is what would shine. They would use to shine the hat, so it had a very smooth, shiny, velvety sheen, right? The fedoras are laced with mercury, and this mercury is seeping into the hats, and it's turning the players into whack faggots. These people can't help but be win-at-all-cost players. It's the chemicals in the fedoras that are doing it.
They also lose their dexterity to paint anything. So they come to events, come to their tournaments with unpainted miniatures, or they hire a commission painter to paint it for them, and they say they did it, and they enter those miniatures into events, Games Workshop events, and say that this is Games Workshop has brought this on themselves. It's like America selling weapons to Iran all over again. It's just going full circle. Was this what Games Workshop wanted? Is this what they wanted? They would have had to know that this was happening.
Oh, Games Workshop knows. They have spies hidden everywhere. Did you know that 1 in 4 miniatures contains a microphone? That's true. We have the documents. 1 in 4 miniatures is bugged. And in the case of Tyranids, it's 1 in 3.
So let's get into news, shall we?
Yes. So, the first news we have. Games Workshop wants to turn Warhammer 40,000 into a skirmish game. Not a skirmish game like the Shadow Wars that's currently going on with the Necromunda revamp. No, we're talking a skirmish game where your 40k army will only be about 20 miniatures in size. That is how 8th edition is designed to play. We have the documents.
Why the hell? Let's get back on that, shall we? Why would you want that to be Necromunda, the shell of what once was so glorious and dark and role-playing? You had drama in Necromunda. You had the gangs fighting each other, humans against humans, and mutants, maybe some aliens, but not to the point of Eldar with fucking spaceships and shit coming down to blow up entire planets. Like, how the fuck is that even a thing? What's their testing ground for this bullshit? And people just ate it up, and they're eating everything up. Can we stop calling the fucking shit ice cream yet? Can we stop calling Games Workshop's ass the fucking soft serve machine? Soft serve machines are fucking normally dirty anyway. So even if Games Workshop's ass was a soft serve machine, you can still get salmonella, but it's not. You're eating actual shit from Games Workshop's ass, perpetual ass. I don't understand why people want to just accept their thing.
It's the Fedora chemicals. Again, it's the Fedora chemicals that are doing it to people. It's why they're so accepting. It's the mercury in the fedoras is turning them crazy. You know, they're actually doing their playtesting for 8th edition. I've heard this through numerous reliable sources. That a race of genetically engineered super smart chimpanzees are being used to test the 8th edition system. These chimpanzees, right, they have actually cornered this hobby, and they are actually controlling the tournaments. They are pulling the strings in the backgrounds. The chimpanzees are responsible for it all. It is a big chimpanzee cover-up. Genetically modified chimpanzees in Nottingham. You heard it here first.
I'll just read one of the transcripts we have from one of our viewers. It was the best of times. It was the blast of times. You stupid monkeys! Oh my god, they ruined everything.
You blew it up, damn you! Damn you all to hell! So, anyway, they want to go to 20 model armies. These armies will be small. They'll play a lot of games real quick. The kids, they'll come in with their mum, they'll sell them an army straight out of a box. It'll be great. And what they want you to do, right, they're not going to give you the models for a good army in that one box, though. It'll play. But if you want the good models, you got to buy lots of boxes, lots of 20-man boxes, and you got to combine them all together. And when you combine all the boxes together, then you'll have a working army. But you can't play them all at once, because the system's not designed for that. The chimpanzees did not design that system. You have to play with a mishmash of different components from different boxes. We have the documents.
It is known.
Moving on.
Okay, so I, Kat, made a video on our YouTube channel a while ago now. It was Games Workshop basement tapes. Now let me go into that for a second. I'll deviate again. Basement tapes refers to the Columbine shootings where those two kids allegedly made basement tapes. They were never released to the public in case they may, in fear that there might be similar killings or it might inspire other killings. So that's why we refer to them as Games Workshop basement tapes. Because it's nothing but a fucking cult at the end of the day, an evil cult. Now, I made my little spoof of it and my rendition of what they were actually trying to say. Age of Sigmar was in there, if you you might have catch that. Snuck it in there a couple of times. But if you... And I left it in. But square bases. They mentioned square bases.
Yes, they did.
And we have a photo here from one of our sources. And if you can see, the vehicles have square bases. Vehicles are not going to be having side facings, front facings. They're not going to have, they're not going to have different sides. It's all going to be the same side of the vehicle. People will be drifting their fucking vehicles around the goddamn table. But square bases on the vehicles, you'll have to.
Now, the rumor is that we hear, and when I say rumor, of course, it's 110% fact-checked. The reason that they're using square bases on the vehicles and not round bases, right? The system is not going entirely to square base. It's just that round bases on vehicles of this size would be just simply too big for the vehicle. So that's the entire reason behind it. It makes perfectly logical sense. The chimpanzee team has developed this under strict supervision, and they've discovered that scientifically the best approach to take is the square base on a vehicle.
Now, a lot of people don't like this, but it obviously stops any arguments, especially in their competitive play. There are 3 types of play, which is the one that they've gotten, those people, those monkeys out in the US to play, to test play. They've come up with this system of how do you know if you're actually in range of the tank? This base puts an end to any of those fucking arguments.
Oh, that's exactly right. There's a lot of shit being slung, quite literally, between the chimpanzees. They were literally slinging their shit at one another because there was a lot of arguing going on. Because some of the chimps, they had the fedoras, they were whack faggots, and these chimps, they were modelling for advantage with their vehicles. So finally, one of the chimps, possibly the dominant alpha male, or silverback if you will, to use a gorilla term, he took charge of the situation and suggested the square base, and it was quickly adopted as it actually helped the community and has streamlined the game somewhat.
Yes, well, when like a baboon society, if you kill the alpha male, which is Games Workshop here, and all the other beaters, and being any true Games Workshop fanboy, they'll fade away if we kill Games Workshop. The true patriot gamers will rise up, and we will not stand for Games Workshop shit. We will fight back.
So, what do you think of the solution that the chimpanzees have come up with? Do you think this is verified? This is scientifically proven that these square-based vehicles that we're being shown right now?
Yeah, I think that this is 100%, 110% confirmed for their tournament play. You will need to do this. You probably won't need to do this in, if you're a normal human being who has a heart. Because anyone with a heart, I've never had any arguments, especially in 30K, against vehicle facings. You just take it, you're just like, yeah, whatever, that's fine, cool, whatever, for the immersion. But this is fucking ludicrous. Ridiculous. I'm making a stand right now. I'm not putting any bases on my vehicle. This is fucking absurd. Just because the neckbeards say that I should do this, I'm not going to do this.
What do you have to say to the people out there who believe that this is actually someone's personal army from 5th edition, and that we're simply reusing this image? What do you have to say to them, those people that would believe we'd sink to such lows?
Well, they're probably Russians.
Do you think that GW has communist spies embedded into the hobby community's ranks?
There's no if about it. Of course that they have those communist spies embedded into all of our communities. We are the front line of the Patriots. We are the outer circle. We are every one of our true listeners, not the shitty ones that keep on giving us hate mail. But hey, see you in hell. 1v1 me there, yo.
But we've seen it, right, with the rise of games like Bolt Action. Bolt Action is set in World War II. Who won World War II against Germany? It wasn't the Western Allies. It was the Eastern Allies. It's a Soviet conspiracy.
Yeah, if you go back and look at Command and Conquer and stuff like that, it's all in there. It's all in there. If you want to verify any of this stuff, just look up the history of Command and Conquer, the alternate history. Germany doesn't become a thing, and the war against Russia and the US happen, and there it's all confirmed in there.
There you go, you heard it here first. More breaking news about this subject. If you refuse to move your tanks to the basing system, Games Workshop, they will send a hired goon squad around your house. They will confiscate all of your armoured assets, all of your vehicles, all of your tanks, and they will be melted down into new Space Marine sprues. You heard it here first. Kat, can you lend any credence to that rumour?
Yeah, I'm sick and tired of get fanboys from Games Workshop telling me that I should be paying extra when I buy a recast, and I do not support them in one iota of their evil plans of their globalization of one war game. I can't do that. But these fanboys, they don't go ahead and some of them do, I'm sure, but most of them don't go out and give Games Workshop the extra money. Just send them a blank check. Send them extra thousands of dollars for no product. We've got the real patriots on our side, the guys of the front line, our true fans, our true player base, the true outer circle. We won't take their fucking shit.
Now, I think it's important to point out to people that you do mention recasts there. That you see, the reason we buy the recasts, I personally don't buy the recasts. But the reason why you should buy recasts is the recasts don't contain those whack faggot carcinogens. Those whack faggot carcinogens, they build up in your system, and they cause untold amounts of shit cuntitis to actually build up in your system. The more and more chemical gets inside you. If your recasts, they don't have that chemical. So you buying recasts, you're actually doing good things for the hobby. It's 100% verified. There have been scientific tests done on this subject, right? The carcinogens, the horrible things, all that they say about recasts, about how it's inferior resin. No, it's all lies. It's all propaganda. All of it. It's lies and disinformation being fed to you, and you're gobbling it up. You're gobbling up the lies.
That is very bad. That is very bad information. You sniff fucking resin. It's not a good thing, whether it be fucking Forge World or recast. It's fucking resin. The fuck, you chop up MDF board, you sniff that shit in. That is also bad. What the fuck are people fucking smoking? Are they legit? They just chopping up this fucking resin, being like, Games Workshop resin. It's good for the heart. Really, cunts?
People are injecting the marijuanas. That's what's going wrong with today's society.
Yeah,
they're injecting the marijuanas directly into their eyeballs.
Narcotics are wrong, except if you want to do them, then they're legit fine, as long as you don't force them up somebody else against their will. That's fine.
Yes, apparently that's fine. Alright, moving on away from square bases on our tanks and GW hired communist goon squads attacking you and taking your armor if you refuse to move to their new basing system. We actually have some documents here on the screen right now, sent in by one of our viewers, one of our contacts in the community. None of our Age of Sigmar stuff sells out in release, unlike the 40k and 30k. I'm not saying that people don't play it or like it, or that it isn't big in areas, but no way does it have the audience that GW pretends. When GW ships a product from their warehouse, it's considered to be sold. They bullshit independent retailers into ordering tons of products, and then it sits on the shelves and never hits the street. But it sold. They also make retailers buy one of each new plastic kit in order to keep their account, and they constantly shift what you have to stock, so you end up with tons of product you can't move and it somehow still counts as sold. It's called best sellers, and they change it quarterly. Kat, do you want to break down what this actually means to our viewers? These highly important documents.
Well, I've actually been told this by multiple sources, actually, around my local area and areas that I've used to live in. But it means that you're being royally fucking screwed by Games Workshop every day. You fucking wake up in your own bed and you see the skies blue and stuff. You thank Games Workshop for it. It's not. They're keeping you in a cage. If you've seen the movie 1984, it's exactly what Games Workshop are doing to you. They're going to take your family, put them in little cubes, and they're going to freeze them. And they're going to turn them into resin to make Primaris Marines.
You heard it here first, people. What's happening here is they're telling you that Age of Sigmar is great and that everyone loves it, and they're proving it by saying it's selling well. But it's all being sold with magical numbers and moving figures around on spreadsheets. This is all part of it's part of their Zionist agenda to actually force Age of Sigmar as a game system on 40k.
Well, I don't know if Lizards are Zionists, but in any case,
It is the reptilians in Games Workshop management have formulated this plan.
Well, actually, I believe Israel was trying to fight Games Workshop, but the US stopped them. I don't know why. Frontline Gaming is actually located in the US, so there must be some sort of connection there. But with on this topic, you have Games Workshop. They've released on their live stream 2 games of 30k. I don't know how many are 40k. for the sake of pulling shit out of the air, we'll say not as much of fucking Age of Sigmar. They push that shit over. Their first live fucking stream was Age of Sigmar. Age of Sigmar. They may as well have put a fucking monkey on there, throwing shit at a wall.
They didn't actually play Age of Sigmar. None of these games are real because, as you know from earlier in the episode, the genetically modified chimpanzees are the ones actually playing the game. These videos they upload are nothing more than advanced scientific recreations of battles using CGI and modern movie-making techniques. Did you know Duncan is actually a complex animatronic that requires 7 different operators to fully function? Duncan is a robot. I know he's a robot.
It's confirmed. He's a robot, 100%. It's not a coincidence that the new, just out of the blue, new aliens have started coming down, and the robots have infiltrated that as well. People aren't pulling this out of their minds. This is actually legitimately what's going on in our time right now as we speak. You have Blade Runner, the remake of Blade Runner coming out. Guess what the fuck? Guess what? He's a robot, people. It's not a fucking...
Duncan is a replicant, isn't he?
Well, he's a bloody robot. Sometimes he's not... The robot isn't working himself, so you've got to, especially during those, they upload at least once a day, sometimes twice, 3 times a day. But every time Duncan's at that painting table. Now, the robot it needs a lot of maintenance. So the Duncan painting robot, they have another one where it's just of him waist up. Think of a Muppet. So you've got a lot of these 7 operators are operating his arm. One's operating his arms, one's operating his facial expressions, and one, is operating his body. They're like there. Why is there a black backdrop? Think about that. Just watch next time for the puppeteers in the background. They're just moving the little strings.
If you listen carefully, when he starts a painting tutorial, you will actually hear him in the background. It's very hard to pick up. You need complex, sophisticated equipment to pick it up. But you can actually hear in the background, beginning painting tutorial, encoding painting tutorial, and lastly, tutorial program, and then the number of the program and a description of it. These clearly coming out of a computer. They are running a computer simulation. The programming is being put into the computer and fed via the sophisticated animatronic suite into the Duncan robot. You don't see his face when he's actually painting. Why? You're looking open from the back. Because you saw him from the front, you'd see 4 cameras analyzing the model in different spectrums, including infrared, ultraviolet, and Fedora Mercury spectrum. These 4 cameras allow him to consistently paint the model with a high degree of accuracy, not seen outside of Chinese sweatshops. This is the ultimate in Games Workshop witchcraft, bamboozlery, right? And it's our patriotic duty to tell you what Games Workshop is doing. They are using the Duncan robot to sell models to your kids. They are corrupting the next generation with their unholy values, using this artificial man.
This is the future we're living in. This is not what I had in mind when I was a kid in 2nd edition, playing 2nd edition with my thing.
Did you not see that video of people standing around a picture of Duncan worshipping him? Did you not see that that's a cult?
Level.
Absolutely. You think that's a joke? That's not a joke. The FBI have been watching. The FBI are watching Games Workshop. They are getting ready to raid them anytime. Right? I could see the Kool-Aid in the background. They're planning a cult suicide in their Games Workshop stores, and Duncan is the figurehead behind it all. We have the documents.
Yeah, the Australian Federal Police have stopped a lot of the influx of these replicants, let's say. That's why that they've gone to one staff in Australia. We have some great men and women working in our police force and emergency services across the board, and they've managed to stop it. But there's only so much they can do with the face of such an evil corporation that earns so much money and has their hands on this monopoly, has their hands around the throat of our governments, our world governments.
They are the second biggest cult after Scientology. That is statistically proven. By statistics I will not share with you right now.
There's only a matter of time until we start getting some schools popping up like this. There's Scientology schools in Melbourne that I've seen. They don't compare anywhere near Games Workshop run painting classes. They don't need a whole 1 to 6 years or 1 to 12 years to corrupt children. They just need a solid afternoon or maybe 30 minutes to implant those things into those children's head. So for the rest of their life, they're spouting shit like, "Oh, you're against Games Workshop and everything that they say, or a slight misconception. Let's eat your fucking skin and your eyeballs." They didn't show that on the news, do they?
Do you think Matt Ward left Games Workshop because of community pressure? No, he left Games Workshop because he had to return to his people. He had to cocoon for 3 years to rejuvenate his skin cells. Did you know that? Matt Ward has to cocoon.
He's returned now. He has returned.
He has returned. We have the documents.
We have the picture of him. He has returned. Instead of the back of the books of Games Workshop, instead of actually letting us know who has been corrupted and who's involved in these evil codexes and documents of corruption, to let us know so we can go out and aptly go down and terminate these.
Kat, I didn't want to share it here today, but it's my patriotic duty to inform you that the reason they credit the entire design team is because they are one. They are a Gestalt hive mind, and they are powered and commune together by the use of dream catchers and chakra crystals. You heard it here first. I know it's horrible to say. You see, when they first brought in the device, right, they couldn't just bring in a massive shipment with the appropriate amount of dream catchers and chakra crystals all at once. So what they had to do was they had to hide it. They had to sneak it into the country illegally. What they did was they put the dream catchers and chakra crystals inside the Age of Sigmar statue that is now out the front of Warhammer World. That's how they did it. That's why they did it. That's what it all leads back to. The Age of Sigmar statue.
They have one of those shrines, we'll say, in the UK. They're getting a bit weird now because the UK is separating from Europe and won't be Europe, and they will need to get one into Europe to keep those prices low. They have one in the US. They've had one for quite time underground in the US. Really unveil it.
How do you think?
We've kept it out of Australia.
How do you think Frontline Gaming provided their feedback to Nottingham about the new system? How do you think?
Lightning speed, but that's why we're paying such a large price.
Hive mind.
They do not have the crystals down here, and I, for one, want to keep it out of our country. I do not want more people. Could we get more people fucking corrupted by Games Workshop in this beautiful country? Oh, I dread the day.
It's not just like they're using the crystals and the dream catchers and the whack faggot chemicals on the models themselves. Have you heard stories about the Bugman's brewery, the food they serve at the Bugman's Cantina at Warhammer World? I hear it's nothing more than an infirm type of gruel. I believe that they're malnourishing the hobbyists deliberately because they become more susceptible to the mind-altering substances they've actually placed into their miniatures.
Doesn't work if you eat a whole month's supply. So if you go in there and you eat a whole month's supply at one time, then you become you become obvious to these fronts. And, you know, a lot of people are walking around going, "Oh, wow, these are great miniatures." No, that's just the chemicals in the food, the gruel that they have. They have this. Sometimes they're just looking at blank canvases and empty cases. They legitimately like half-built dioramas and stuff. And if you look closely on some of the dioramas that are built and stuff like that for photo purposes, the back of the models aren't there. They're not painted correctly. They're either one color. They let up on that on the second Forge World book. If you look in there, there is a huge amount of issues with that book, and you can see that it's just nothing but a farce. But if you take
that was produced back in the prototype stage of the Duncan robot. You see, the 7 operators were having a lot of trouble with the Duncan robot because of the fire animatronics involved in it. That's why they had to actually install the 4 cameras in the face originally, because the 2 cameras that he used wasn't providing enough focus on the models, and he was mispainting things, incorrectly painting models. The Duncan robot was responsible for all of that.
Now, can I just go? Let's shift gears here, Mako. Now, a lot of people have asked you about our phrase of Billy the Intern. Now, we knew about this character long ago, a couple of years ago now, I think, and it turns out he's one of the key figureheads, an intern. Nobody expects the intern. If you see, there's actually an instructional video hidden within the cartoon regular show, and the intern turns out to be a Russian spy. Well, it's a lot worse, people. A lot worse. And I can guarantee you it gets a lot worse from here. 8th edition isn't even unveiled yet. We have Billy the Intern working fucking 24-hour shifts, it seems, just dripping out shitty information for people to not look. This is like, ooh, fucking movement abilities. Oh, wow, yeah, give me more. Ooh, getting rid of initiative. Hooray.
That's a very important point you touch on there, because that is Games Workshop's mainstream media forcing their agenda down our throats. It is misinformation and nothing more. It's a fear agenda. They are engendering fear in the gamers. Because they want us afraid. They want us scared. They know that they can't sell their products to us if we're not afraid. And we need to let them know we are not afraid. We are not afraid of Games Workshop. Right? I'm not scared of your mind-altering chemicals and your dream catchers and your chakra crystals. Send your killer robot after me, perform some wet work. I don't care. Give me liberty or give me death!
We need to stand strong together, people. We need to stand as one against this global enemy.
We gotta beat the globalists. Together, we can beat the globalists. Thank you all for watching this episode of InfoHammer, and we'll see you all next time.